So the upcoming blockbuster hit for PlayStation 4 and 5, Horizon Forbidden West, has actually been delayed from holiday of 2021, so the rear end, the tuchus of 2021, into the nose or quarter 1 of 2022. Let's talk about why this is, if it's a big deal, if we should be sweating it, or we should be kind of glad it got delayed, as well as some other games that have been delayed and some other titles that you can play on your PS4 and 5 right now. Alrighty, Stallions and Stallionettes, share my screen over here. I have an article pulled up with some pretty highlights on it. It will be cited or sourced down there in the description below, as I do anytime I cover any news in the gaming community or industry. Sony has delayed Horizon Forbidden West until next year. Originally scheduled to arrive loosely, we had a date of this holiday season. Now it is going to be the first quarter of 2022. So not a huge delay, but a delay nonetheless. Now they are claiming that this is primarily due to the pandemic. However, that might not be the case. COVID-19 has caused production challenges, forcing dev teams to work from home for months. But the pandemic has also provided a cover for developers to bump games that were facing obstacles regardless. So that is true, and that is a very good take from Bloomberg. I know it's confusing. That statement's from Bloomberg. This article's from Kotaku. I'm your favorite YouTuber, but you know, that's how the gaming news works. It trickles down in a funnel, and I'm the big long tip, and I'm the big squishy tip or spout of the funnel. That didn't sound good at all. The majority of these developer houses that do claim that their delays are due to the pandemic is true, and that does make sense because there is less communication between graphic designers, programmers, audio technicians, voice actors, etc. when everyone is working remotely. It takes longer to send a file via Google Drive or whatever they're using than it does just to bring over a flash drive to somebody's desk and be like, hey, can you take a look at this texture pack for me? Does it look good? Does it look pixelated? Now, I'm going to say right now, regardless of the reason, I do think it is a positive thing. It is a good thing that this game has been delayed. I don't remember if it was Buddha or Confucius or Gabe Newell. It was actually a journalist from about a decade ago. He said, a delayed game will eventually be good. A rushed game will forever be bad. And that is so true. That resonates to this day. Now even more so than ever, as we've seen games get pushed, get rushed. For example, Cyberpunk 2077, which yes, I know was announced prior to the release of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So it was in development for 7.5, 8 years, but it was still rushed. Near the end of its development phase, not only did they have the top brass, the executives over at CDPR saying, hey, we need to make some money. Let's get this thing out. It's going to sell like hotcakes, whether we serve them a turd or not. Then you had fans of The Witcher and just fans of Project Red in general saying, hey, we've been waiting patiently for this for a long time, and you guys have been feeding us all this teaser art, all these live shows like Night City Live and stuff, really showcasing the game. We need it. We need it now. So they pushed it out, and it was basically, it was virtually unplayable on consoles. It was bricking Xboxes to where you needed to hard reset them. It was so bad it was taken off the PlayStation Network, and you couldn't buy a digital copy for your PlayStation anymore. PC was playable, but had a lot of graphical issues as well as some gameplay issues. So using that as an example, and there's dozens other, but I think that is a very, very good recent example that we can all kind of relate to. Delaying a game is not terrible. There are other titles out there to play, whether you're a handheld gamer, a mobile gamer, a PC gamer, a console gamer. There's other titles to keep you busy until that releases. The fact is, if they can smooth out some game-busting bugs, or even if it's just some cosmetic stuff, you don't want something taking you out of the immersion. The main character is clipping into a wall, or NPCs are bouncing off each other, or the gravity isn't programmed correctly on enemies, and they're ragdolling like a freeway accident, or they stand there like a tree trunk when you're punching them, you know? It takes you out of the immersion of the game that you've been waiting so patiently for. So it is a good thing that this has been delayed, and especially because it's not a long delay. It's going from the end of 2021 to the very beginning of 2022, which is around the time frame that a lot of Valve Steam Decks are also going to be getting released. So a lot of great stuff in the gaming community and industry happening around that time. Sharing my screen once again, unlike some other upcoming Sony games, Horizon Forbidden West is supposed to come to PS4 as well, similar to last year's Miles Morales. This is actually a bad thing for both PlayStation 5 and 4 owners. Hear me out, please. So developers have to develop for the weakest possible hardware, which in this case would be the base PS4. So not the PS4 Pro, but the standard, you know, run-of-the-mill missionary position PlayStation 4, which means this game will never truly reach its highest level of graphical fidelity and performance on the PS5. Yes, of course, it will run better on the PlayStation 5, but it is still hindered by the fact that at its core, if you strip off layers of the onion, there is a base file in there for a PlayStation 4 game. It is also bad for PS4 owners to a degree because they're playing a savagely handicapped version of the PlayStation 5 game, which a lot of people might argue, hey, isn't it good that people can just play it period if they can't afford a PS5 or more realistically can't get their hands on one because they're still very hard to get their hands on? Kind of, but considering this is a 2021 or 2022, I should say now, AAA title, first party Sony studio game, it is going to be very, very resource intensive. It is going to push the PS5. So when you get this dumbed down version into a PS4, it's actually going to look or run more janky, I would say. That's the medical term for it. More janky than even Grand Theft Auto 5, which was playable on the 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4. Those game assets are 7-8 years old. This is 2022, where game files are bigger, texture packs are bigger, and games are inherently designed from the core up to stress out hardware. So you're going to probably see things like frame rate dip. And even your maximum frame rate is going to be around 30 frames per second locked. I use finger squiggly quotes here because it's hard for the PlayStation 4 playing a open world AAA title with long draw distances to hold a capped frame rate. It will dip down into the mid 20s, maybe even the low 20s in some scenes, depending on what's going on screen. So in essence, when brand new AAA exclusives get released for the previous console, it's kind of not a good thing for anybody. That's my opinion. You can disagree with it. That's totally fine. We're all adults. We can have differences of opinion and move on with our day. But in my opinion, Horizon Forbidden West being delayed is actually a good thing because they can actually release us a quality product at the end of the day, which is very important because this game has a lot of hype around it, as well it should. The original game is fantastic. This year isn't completely bare or barren when it comes to awesome PlayStation 5 exclusives. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is only on the PS5. It's not on the PS4. Very good game. Returnal also came out, which is a very niche game. It's not going to be as widely adopted as something like Rift Apart, but it's a good game in my opinion. It's savagely frustrating, but a good game. Of course, Gran Turismo 7 has also been delayed. The next God of War, which people are loosely calling Ragnarok because it currently does not have an official name, that has also been delayed into 22. But overall, there are experiences to be had on the PlayStation 5 right now, whether it's Astro's Playroom, which is baked into the console to show off the features of the DualSense, whether that's playing some of your PlayStation 4 games that have been boosted up to a capped 60 with a little bit better graphical fidelity, whether it's Demon Souls, Godfall, Miles Morales, Valhalla, Resident Evil Village, Sackboy's Adventure. Yes, I know a lot of those titles are available on other platforms as well, but there's experiences to be had on the PS5 right now. If you guys enjoyed this gaming news, liking the video will help it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well, which in turn helps me grow this channel, which I do genuinely appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover a lot of news in the gaming community and industry, as well as honest gaming peripheral reviews and tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing. I also have a merch store that will be linked in the description below, and I upload daily, so I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.